Going to Atlanta, the Peach Bowl, Texas versus Arizona State. Texas is a 12.5-point favorite against the Sun Devils in Arizona State. I am going to take Arizona State and the points, but Texas to win. This Texas defense is probably the most underrated unit in the country. When we talk about Texas, because it's Steve Sarkisian, who is known as an offensive mind, because Arch Manning is on the field, and because they are running back Texas provides running back after running back, and here you are with two, Jaden Blue and Trey Wisner, both are incredible running backs. You think a lot about the offense. But this Texas team this season has been very dependent on the defense. And they're going to need to provide a spark here. Luckily, I think they can. This Texas defense ranks 11th in run defense in the country, which is what Arizona State is going to want to do. Arizona State with Cam Skattebo, they're going to want to run the football. I watched them against Iowa State in the Big 12 championship game, and Skattebo was a human wrecking ball. That guy was running all over Iowa State defenders, and to the point where it was kind of comical. Like, it looked Pop Warner that no one could tackle. And Iowa State's a pretty decent team. I know that they beat Miami. It was without Cam Ward, but Iowa State is a good team. And they could not tackle Cam Skattebo. Ran all over him. Literally looked like Pop Warner football. Skattebo's averaging 6 yards per carry and 130 yards a game. The problem is this Texas defense, who is 11th in rush defense in the year, they have only allowed one running back to hit 100 yards this season. And that was against Florida. That's the one 100-yard rusher that they have allowed all season long against Florida. And that game wasn't close. At one point, Texas was up 42-0. So I think it's going to be difficult for Cam Skattebo to get going. That defensive front from Texas is legit. They had two NFL prospects be drafted off of the defensive line last year, and they're just as good this year. It's an incredible defensive front, and I think that's going to make it very difficult for Skattebo to get going. Now, I think that Kenny Dinningham and Arizona State is going to continue to dig in that well. Skattebo's averaging 6 yards a carry. If he's averaging 2 or 3, they're going to keep giving him the ball. They are just going to try to grind this game out. Because if they want to pass it, well, that's where Texas might even be better. Than the number 2 pass defense in the country. Number 2 in points per game allowed. So this defense for Texas is a incredible unit. And I don't think Arizona State's going to be able to do much against this Texas defense. Their quarterback, Sam Levitt, he's had 24 touchdowns, 5 picks this season. But just don't think it's going to be enough. Now let's go to the other side of the ball. There's been a lot of conversations about Quinn Ewers. He is not healthy. He hasn't been healthy. I know he's been dealing with that ankle injury. He hasn't been healthy the last couple of weeks. And this Texas offense has not finished. And that's what, against Texas A&M, the offense did whatever they wanted to against Texas. Texas A&M, they just couldn't finish the drives. You had 2 drives in the red zone, fumble, interception, and one of those was the pick 6 that goes back for the only points of Texas A&M's night. But if they were able to move the ball all over the field, the 2 games they haven't been able to do anything was against Georgia. And for whatever reason, Georgia has their number. Texas has been able to run over every team that they have played with Trey Wisner and Jaden Blue. Last week it was Jaden Blue against Clemson. Trey Wisner, I think, is nursing a little bit of an injury. But this running game has been lights out for the Longhorns. And you haven't asked Quinn Ewers to do a lot. And so that's been the big question. Can Quinn Ewers get something going? And I think that Sark knows what he has in Quinn Ewers, trying to put him in the best position to succeed, not throwing down the field a ton. It's a lot of quick game, RPOs. I don't know if Arch Manning would be any better. Obviously, Arch is a more dynamic playmaker. He can use his feet, but we've only seen Arch sparingly against some mediocre teams this season. So if you are going to put Arch in the game, this one might be the one. You might want to see him late in the game in this one, if things are being controlled, right? I think that we will start to see more and more reps for Arch Manning. And by the way, Texas does get one of their best receivers, Isaiah Bond. He's going to play against Arizona State. Winner, Arizona State, Texas. The winner gets the winner of Oregon and Ohio State. So I'm taking Arizona plus the points, but Texas to win.